The star and director of last year's Invictus reunite for a serious drama dealing with the loss and a look at the other side. Hello there, I'm Nick Iacobucci, and welcome back to RealScreenReviews.com, and our next movie review is Hereafter, opening around the country on Friday, October 22nd, 2010. Hereafter stars Matt Damon, Cecile DeFrance, Jay Moore, Bryce Dallas Howard, and comes to us from two-time Academy Award-winning filmmaker Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood won the trophy for The Unforgiven back in the early 90s and also for directing 2004's Million Dollar Baby, as well as directing Matt Damon in the aforementioned Invictus. They team up after not too much time apart for one of the more tender and serene stories to come across the silver screen in quite a while. Even though our story begins in a very intense tidal wave taking both the characters and the audience by storm, it is a story told from the perspective of three very different individuals. Matt Damon plays George Lonigan, a factory worker by choice that has given up being a professional psychic. We learn that as the tale progresses that at a young age, George contracted a fever that soon spread to the spinal column, which in turn almost killed him. After recovering, he has come to realize that with just the simplest contact with others, he now has the ability to communicate with their loved ones that have passed away. He has tried to use this as a means for financial gain in the past, but it has never graduated or become anything more than a curse in relation to George's life. The tidal wave blowing through the streets at the beginning of the movie sweeps lead character Marie Lelay to just shy of drowning as she is resuscitated by others. Marie is portrayed by Cecile DeFrance in a very sincere and heartfelt performance. She was extremely convincing and maintained the sympathy of the viewership throughout. After surviving the catastrophe, she is having problems dealing with the shock of the whole situation. She takes time off from her position as a newscaster to write a book on real crime, but can't help but dwell on and create a novel about her near-death experience. The white light that Marie sees is surreal, but also non-threatening. Then there are times when she starts to drift off and almost connects with others in this not-so-much outworldly place as next-worldly place. But she moves forward, and the reporter in her takes over, and she wants answers to certain questions, and Marie begins to seek them out. The final part of our trio is a British adolescent named Marcus. Marcus has experienced a great loss in his young life. His twin brother Jason passes away in an accident, and this is the grieving process of the movie. This is the character that fights and struggles to get some sort of resolution or peace in order just to carry on. Credit young actors George and Frankie McLaren for more than holding their own in this story that holds the weight of the world on all of the actors' shoulders pretty much at all times. Well, people, I can start by saying that many individuals film a destruction sequence as in 2012 or Con Air, but leave it to director Clint Eastwood to put you in the middle of this disaster and also show you an in-your-face struggle to survive to cap it off. This movie has a ton of heart, none more than delivered by Matt Damon. Damon has been and is one of the strongest leads in Hollywood for better than a decade, and he is maturing into one great actor. He brings charisma and depth to every part as well as looks. Damon also gives us one of his smaller physical roles, not an emotional role, but he reminded me of a toned-down Robert De Niro from, say, Mad Dog and Glory. Hereafter is a good movie, but if I had to pick a word to describe it, I would say that it's a tough movie. It has tough scenes about tough material, and more than a couple times, it's just tough to watch. A lot of what's depicted is not a happy subject, and that's going to be a difficult sell to folks plopping down $10 or $12 looking to be entertained. This film comes in at just past 2 hours, and it's anything but a fast-paced thriller. This is a film that you really need to be in the mood to see, and it would be very beneficial to have a clear understanding of what it's about before you invest the time in it. Clint Eastwood is truly amazing. He began his career as a pretty face and soon became a hunk. He went from TV actor to action movies to movie star. He has coined phrases in movie history never to be matched and entertained audiences for better than 50 years. When others would have looked to retirement, he has reinvented himself for another generation as one of the most regarded filmmakers in history, and at the age of 80, he couldn't be more at the top of his game. He still gets the occasional Best Actor nod, and even composes musical scores for some of his own films. With all of this, it does just pain me a bit to say that this is definitely not a great film. It's well above average, but once again, the premise will be a downer for some in attendance right from the start. Strong performances carry Hereafter from start to finish, but I found myself looking at my watch for the first time right around the 1 hour mark, and more often than that going forward. I'm really torn between 2.5 and 3 stars, and I think I'm going to go with 3 stars just because the film is so well made. And remember, people, I'm not always right, only when it comes to the movies. And thank you for your attention.